The days leading up to Jeff Sessions' Daca announcement were doubly anxious for Luis Cortes Romero. Not only is he an immigration attorney with Daca clients, he's also a Daca recipient himself. Before Cortes turned 2 years old, his parents left Michoacán, Mexico, and migrated without papers to California, where they still live today. He grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, playing in punk bands and exploring his Mexican roots, but feeling always like an American kid. So do you remember Mexico at all?
I do not. And so I imagine Mexico how anybody else would imagine it who's never been there. And so it's interesting because some of my peers who were born here and raised here will tell me more about Mexico than I know about it and have experienced more of Mexico than I have.
Cortes was in law school in Idaho when Obama announced Daca in 2012. Before Daca, he wasn't sure what he would do with his law degree, but figured it would improve his opportunities. It was Daca that allowed him to start working at a law firm as soon as he graduated, and 5 years later, he landed his first high-profile case. Daniel Ramirez Medina, the first Daca recipient detained under the Trump administration.
Pues estoy bien y estoy bien agradecido con todos, con toda la gente que me apoyó y a todos los Dreamers también. Muchas gracias.
Characterize for me what it's going to mean if this goes away.
I think it's going to be devastating. It's going to feel like such a loss in so many different ways. And that loss is going to be coupled with a tremendous amount of fear.
We are the immigrants! We are the immigrants! The mighty, mighty immigrants!
Daca has a lot of moving parts, but it essentially does two things. It promises young undocumented immigrants with a high school diploma and no significant criminal record that they will not be deported for 2 years. And in that same period, it gives them work permits. Even though they pay into Social Security, Daca recipients are not eligible for Medicaid, financial aid for college, or any other federal benefits.
Of ending DACA, and we're told it's going to be a phase out. So we're waiting a couple hours. We're going to hear from the Attorney General. We are not expecting to hear from the President specifically on DACA, though we will send her up 4 o'clock.
On Tuesday morning, shortly before Sessions made his announcement, Cortes met with Cynthia Gutierrez, a Daca recipient who lives just outside Seattle.
With where you're working at now, is that something that they have brought up? Like, have they brought up your work permit before? Like,
and I did tell them, like, hey, this is going on. If this does end up happening, I might not be able to work anymore. The owner kind of just told me, like, don't worry about it. We'll worry about it when it gets here. Right. I really don't want to lose you as an employee. You're valued here. So I was just like, well, I kind of wanted to mention it because it worries me. It scares me. Yeah.
When the time came for Sessions to deliver his statement, Cortes watched from a reception area in his office.
The effect of this unilateral executive amnesty, among other things, contributed to a surge of minors at the southern border that yielded terrible humanitarian consequences. It also denied jobs to hundreds of thousands of Americans.
What this announcement creates is it's a time bomb. It's a time bomb for Congress to act. Otherwise, people are going to start falling from this program, whether in 6 months or whatever that looks like. It leaves Dreamers, their lives in the hands of political parties that they have no participation in, and that's a very, very scary thing. Fuck.